Hey yo, it's me, Boy Line,
It's me, Joe.
and we're back to review another comic book movie. This time we're going from the Marvel side. We just finished talking about last time with Superman. Now we're with the Fantastic Four, First Steps. And I just now realized First Steps is indicative of one aspect of this movie.
Um, you're not wrong, but
Yeah.
at the same time, does the baby take any steps?
No, that's not. But no, so we were talking about Marvel's newest film. It's last film of the year. They had three total films: Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers, but really we're just keep calling it Thunderbolts. And then there's now Fantastic Four Steps. So the way we like to handle this is that we would like to give a minute to our thoughts about the film, and then we go into a bit of a discussion. And yeah, so obviously we're gonna go doing that. Joe, you're first. Go ahead.
Okay. So Fantastic Four, First Steps, I think, is a real return for Marvel. It is a revitalization of the classic characters that have had bit struggles of years in terms of modern films, but this I feel like will be the definitive version of the Fantastic Four family. It has a great plot in terms of the conflict between the Fantastic Four and main villain Galactus. It has great effects. It's pretty much like the big summer movie that you probably would expect for a Marvel movie to be, and it hits all the right spots. It has the right comedic timings. Like you care for the characters in a way you haven't. That I feel like probably some people haven't cared about Marvel characters in a while. And overall, it's a nice, solid, singular story that really works well.
All right. So I'll give my first, my 1 minute, uh, one, uh,
It's 1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah, I don't know why I kept thinking. But
We
no, it was. Yeah. So Fantastic Four First Steps is without a doubt a true to the good old Marvel method of when it comes to the films, centered around characters that we can easily latch onto and easily enjoy. I personally feel that the crux of the film is really centered around Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards and his wife Sue Storm and their child Franklin. While Franklin is yes still a baby, they're essentially the emotional core, and the villain Galactus is what you expect him to be. He is a threat beyond any understanding for most characters, and the Silver Surfer does a great job at sort of being this interesting character that is caught between not only the loyalties to Galactus but also to saving the world.
Mhm.
And honestly, it melds both together very well. All right, so where do we start?
Um, we're if I recall correctly, we're doing this spoiler free, right? We're not.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
not
All
going
right.
that
All
far into
right.
spoilers.
Okay. So I mean, I guess what we could talk about. Obviously, I think the casting for the Fantastic Four themselves, right?
Yeah, so I think when it was first announced, the only one I think a lot of people, well, two that where people were a little concerned about because these two actors are well, one Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. A lot of people were like, nah, that's too simple of a choice. Yeah, Pedro Pascal is in like literally he's in three movies right now.
Uh,
Like this is his third movie right now in the span of a few months because he's got Eddington and he's got the Materialist.
okay.
You didn't know that, did you?
I don't think that really matters because
Well, no,
like
but to the point is that a lot of people were more of like he's in everything now.
okay. I mean, yeah, sure. I assume there's still a small group of people that are like, why couldn't this be John Krasinski or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't disagree,
Because
but
obviously people when they were people love the fan cast movies, right?
mm,
They were fan casting, obviously having John Krasinski and I think Emily Blunt or whatever
yeah,
be Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, right?
it's because like at some point he was considered for Captain America,
Yeah, and he got his little role in Multiverse of Madness, so
which is a nice nod to it.
yeah, so it's fun. But
Mm.
yeah, you're talking. And who was the other one you were gonna say?
Joseph Quinn as
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm,
Yeah.
because he was announced like right off the heels of what was Stranger Things season 4.
Mm-hmm.
So and he was a breakout character in that movie, that show. Sorry, it felt like a movie honestly. So it was like, oh okay, we got the Hellfire Club guy being which is funny enough was meant to be a nod to the comics, the
Yeah,
Hellfire Club
yeah, I
in
see that.
X Men, and now he plays Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, the Man on Fire. So it's kind of funny and like um but I think the other two, the guy playing I can't pronounce his name right at the top of my head, but him and Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm, I think everyone agreed like, oh that's that's interesting casting. I like that. But like as honestly, the real question was how are all four of them gonna interact with each other? Because the thing about the Fantastic Four is that there are for the most part a family.
Yeah, and that is the true core of the Fantastic Four, and it's not to say that the previous attempts did not get that. I mean, the original two Fantastic Four movies done by Fox.
Yeah, Tim Story's Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
They weren't bad, but it's just like man, there was something just missing.
yeah, like for the most part, they kind of got the dynamic all right.
Yeah.
Like not, it wasn't like
Mm.
yeah, like you said, they weren't terrible movies. I think there might be some like hyping them up nowadays from nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think even as
Like the only scene I could agree that like really was effective off that of the original Tim Story films was the thing with the stuff with the thing.
yeah, a lot of the stuff with the thing, doing
Mm.
he's a monster, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That still works.
Yeah,
As,
like him trying to pick up
his
the
wife's
his fiance's ring.
yeah,
Like,
because she's like, I can't be with you. You're a rock man kind of thing.
yeah, that hit hard.
Yeah, that's still that.
Which is very, it's like that sums up the Fantastic Four. If one can reach there, they're all together.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
But then everyone can agree. Chris Evans is Johnny Storm. Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
But anyways, yeah, yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, everybody here in the main four do fantastic in their job.
Hey.
I really wanted to avoid saying the word fantastic anytime I talk about this movie, but
it's like I will say that for me the emotional core, like I said earlier, was centered around the family, but specifically uh, Reed, Sue, and Franklin. Well, Franklin's a baby, so not much you can do there.
yeah, but that's the whole crux of the movie, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That the newest addition to the family, and then having to face this existential threat of Galactus wanting to just devour the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of all just sort of ties in very neatly together. And you get very emotional moments between the characters, especially like you said with Reed and Sue having this
I would
debate.
say like the overall theme of this movie is the fear of parenting. Like just like throughout the movie, Reed and Sue are just talking about like how are we gonna raise a child? How is this child gonna turn out? How, like and all that stuff, and like the fear of like raising a child, because like like I don't have any kids or anything like that, but like I understand like the fear of having one.
Yeah, because especially with Reed's whole analytical brain and mindset, he's very much of like he's afraid about if his kid is going to turn out like them.
Mm-hmm.
Not like monsters or whatever, but you can still tell that Reed still feels a bit bad about the whole cosmic ray thing, changing their lives forever.
Mm-hmm.
Ben has a moment with him that's like, listen, you gotta stop beating yourself over that. Especially since I feel like in this version, Ben Grimm, the Thing, is very much beloved by everybody
Yeah,
here.
he's not the hated. He's not the like, woe is me.
No, he very much is cool with his life. He even meets a nice lady, who's a teacher. Like,
which I was like, okay. Well, I don't think she was a teacher. She was working at a synagogue.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is that she comes out, and there's a bunch of kids. It's a scene that everybody sees in the trailers, right?
Whatever. I'm over.
Yeah, she's a, she comes out during that whole scene with him picking up the car and stuff. Anyways, yeah, like Ben's living a pretty solid life. Like he's content with himself.
Yeah.
people are pretty much fine
He
because
still misses that aspect of himself, but like he's come to peace with it.
yeah, I was
He's
gonna
buried
yeah,
it.
yeah, he's come to peace with it, and it's pretty clear. Obviously, in this universe, like they're the only heroes, basically. Like they're the one tasked with protecting the Earth.
And like it's so like we're talking about the setting of it. It's Earth 828, which is a specific number. You'll find out by the end of the film. Uh, but like one thing I did find interesting is that their influence is felt throughout the world in a way that's like counter to what we're used to with the rest of the Marvel film.
Yeah, and I think that's a very deliberate choice
Yeah.
in terms of like these are four heroes that are essentially are celebrities. I mean, it's something similar to the old Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, but this one onto a very big extent. Like they actually have like straight up political power, kind of like they like countries are like, yeah, sure, you need help with this stuff, we'll help you out, man. You're the Fantastic Four. You guys rock.
It's like, but they also, I think that's because like because someone like Reed is like able to like help expand technologically wise and help everyone out that it feels so much different. Like it still feels like something from the '60s or '50s, like that kind of like
Yeah, that
decade.
retro futuristic style,
Yeah,
right?
and you can tell like maybe Reed had a huge part in that.
I mean, yeah, the fact that yeah, the Fantastic Art is the thing, but for the most part, there's like essentially instead of like the typical like stuff you see in Times Square, right, of the digital screens or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they're like these big like old '60s style TVs that show stuff and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you know,
Oh,
like
this is like some of the architecture really speaks out to that, like sort of a Jetsons kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, Jetsons vibe,
Yeah,
right?
and I'm like, that's so cool. Like a lot of the sets and the design of the world itself made me really want to come back to it.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to
Yeah,
see, that whole
but also
universe.
like to your point, like the celebrities, like they're all they are able to handle the political power with some level of respect.
Yeah, they don't abuse it. I mean, Johnny's has like billboards or whatever of like him promoting stuff, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, it does seem pretty clear that they
Yeah,
aren't.
because Sue, I'm not gonna go that deep into it. It's literally in the first 5 minutes. Helps. She works with the UN,
Yeah, she brokers a peace deal with the Mothman and his subterranean faction.
which is I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do something with the mole man, that makes sense.
Yeah, which is funny. Which I won't lie, it's kind of neat that you get some of these pretty classic mentions of like very uh you know
Mm-hmm.
old characters like
Red
ha-
Ghost. Oh
yeah.
man, there were so many ones I can't remember off the top of my head. But
You
like,
even have that monster from the first issue, right? Show
yeah,
for a little bit.
yeah. Tales from the Suspense.
Yep.
I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. But all of that is not like something that's meant to be like Easter egg. It's more meant to like to establish like they've been around.
Yeah, they even have a little like talk show segment of them explaining their backstory, and it's done well. It's
Mm-hmm.
done pretty neat. I mean, um, pretty much it's a nice sort of not palate cleanser, but I'm thinking of the word or the phrase like
Mm-hmm.
a primer kind of thing. Like it sets you up with like, okay, this is a bit more fantastical than the MCU that we know, right?
Yeah.
God damn it. Um,
Air snare.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of those, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it sets up the world very well. I mean, it's just, it's a pretty neat way of reintroducing the Fantastic Four to the modern audience
Mm-hmm.
and having them be in this sort of like set piece time period.
Yeah, because really everyone kind of already knows the origin. It's like one of the ones where like yeah we kind of don't need the origin. We kind of already know cosmic rays, all that cool stuff.
Yeah, go into space, get hit with
Mm-hmm.
rays, come back. We're all different now.
Yeah, and I honestly like going to the talking about like the way it's set. There's so many times where I felt like it was kind of a callback to the space race,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
especially with the way Reed makes his speeches. I'm
yeah.
like, man, this feels like I'm listening to like my high school, talking about the the Soviets and the U.S. going to space.
I mean, everybody has that sort of. Well, Reed especially, and then has
Hmm.
that cadence of like man from the '60s talking, not like to a an exaggerated degree though. It's like okay, yeah, this guy sounds like he is from a different time.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it even makes more sense because like that famously Fantastic Four was something it was something made by Stanley and Jack Kirby. Stanley was almost about to quit his job until he was convinced by his wife to make Fantastic Four, and like you can tell, and early on that you can tell there was a lot of like influence by the space race
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of the center of like what it was because like they were trying to see who can get to space. What happens when you get to space? There's gonna be all this weird cosmic stuff, and that's kind of like what I love the fact that you had that vibe from it because it was always like a mirror to the space race, and uh, it was a really cool idea. I like that. So honestly, you want to talk about Galactus?
Yeah, let's do it. I
He's not
mean,
in it for that much.
well, he's very much, and I don't think he needs to be
No, no, no.
because Galactus, as we all know,
Hmm.
is a sort of cosmic being that feeds on planets.
Yeah,
He isn't really a bad guy per se. He's not doing it because he wants to. It's how he survives.
yeah.
That's sort of the whole like crux of Galactus.
Hmm.
And he's just a big guy in space, just eating planets, man. He's such an and obviously the last time we saw him on film was in the Tim Story movies, where he's just a giant cloud. Which I mean, yeah,
That sucks.
it's still a disappointment even if you go watch those movies. It's just, I mean,
Hmm.
yes, Lawrence Fishburne, Silver Surfer, great, obviously, perfect casting, I would say. Um, but yeah, you just can't, like, come on, like there's nothing cooler than this dude,
Hmm.
Galactus, full suit, everything. Like the way they introduce him to is just God. I love the scale. I really do. I think that's just one of those. I've always been a fan of like having the like interesting like scaling stuff of like comparing of like the really big things to the small thing, right?
Hmm.
Like if I were to go like when I think about it, like say like the 2014 Godzilla like movie, right? Probably one of my favorite shots is that shot of during the fight between Godzilla and the Muto at the end in the city,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
just the two of them standing off in the city. I'm just like, oh, I love this. I love the because I think Gareth Edwards does great with that sort of like
yeah.
scaling stuff anyway, of like showing like, wow, these things are big, right? Because in Rogue One, it's like, oh man, these AT-ATs, they're freaking big.
You really did feel the size of 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 the the Star Destroyer in that movie too.
Yeah, pretty.
Especially when it starts coming into the atmosphere too. It's like, oh shit, yeah, that's big.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, they do pretty much a sort of similar thing here with Galactus. I mean, it's just, gosh, he's so cool.
Oh no, he's always been one of my favorite characters, and like you're not wrong in like to clarify, like he is not technically a villain. He's more like, listen guys, I'm hungry, I gotta eat.
He is kind of, yeah, he's
He's a constant force, and that's kind of the point of him, and especially when he's written in the comics. Like I remember someone describing like his first interaction in Fantastic Four, right? Where when he shows up, it almost feels like almost apocalyptic,
hmm
because like so in the comics, the Watcher like does all this stuff to hide the Earth from being destroyed, and if he do it by like showing rains of fire, fire comets, like everything's going to hell and everything, and it just someone will say like it looks like something like almost apocalyptic, and here comes like this godlike being coming to destroy the world,
yeah,
and I'm just like that is like a really cool reading of it, and I really like that, and you kind of get that vibe in this one too, especially when the introduction of the Silver Surfer and the way the presence that just Galactus gives off. It's
yeah,
just like I don't care. I just because a lot of people compare him to say Lovecraftian monster.
yeah. I guess I can see that in a way of like this is just a being in space that is just massive, that eats planets because it needs to survive,
Hmm.
right? Like, yeah, I imagine for most people seeing that sort of image, especially since he has a ship too, which I won't lie, it finishes destroying a planet,
Mm.
and I'm just like, is that is is Galactus inside Unicron? Is that what this is?
Well, there's a reason for that too. It's like because oftentimes they'll change it up where he's big as a planet, or like maybe big as the moon, or he needs he has a machine that helps him like break down a planet for it to be devoured.
Yeah, yeah.
Which honestly kind of depends. And that's kind of the sad part about the Tim Story one. You can kind of see how they were kind of doing that with the Cloud.
Yeah, the thing is, you kind of get where they wanted to do with it.
Yeah,
It just doesn't hit as well as
it
just
doesn't. Because like the idea of him being a cloud, maybe if he was like inside the cloud, it'd be a lot cooler.
maybe.
But the idea is like he is a force of nature, right? He is
Yeah,
a literal like he is a hurricane on its way to the coast, kind of stuff.
yeah.
Which I get that, but the way it's kind of written, is just not really that great. And part of me wonders is because like they were borrowing it from the Ultimates comics, because in the Ultimates comics, he's not a big big purple man. He's just little tiny ships
Mm,
called Galactus. See,
no.
I see your head is rolling like no, no.
I can like the Ultimate Universe, like the old one, not the new one that's out, right?
Yeah,
For some things it did. Other times it's like, I don't know about that.
I would say it's like a little like they made it more like an insect, like a it's like
In,
locust kind of shit.
yeah, Locust, which I mean, I guess I can understand.
That's just as horrifying.
Yeah, as horrifying, but I don't know. It
So
just
there's
seems
something
like,
about a big purple man.
yeah, something about a big man in a purple outfit with a big hat
Mm-hmm.
going around with a big ass voice, just like I'm gonna eat your planet. You know, it's like
What was the actor's name for that? For Galactus, I can't remember, but he's been in a lot of stuff.
wasn't it Ralph Fiennes?
It is no, not Ralph Fiennes, because you're thinking about Voldemort.
I mean, I know he plays Voldemort.
Yeah, but that's not the guy.
Is it not?
No,
Innes.
Innes. Yes,
Yes, that's what it is.
Innes Fiennes. Yeah, so he's done a lot of voice work and a lot of acting work. But like one of his more well-known roles, well, two that I'm gonna throw out there, a voice actor role and a film role was he was the Green Knight in the movie The Green Knight.
Right. Yeah,
That
I
was
remember that movie.
he was like off with your, and he has an imposing voice, which really makes sense because like I feel like for Galactus you need like an imposing voice that makes you feel larger than life.
Yeah, and I won't lie, they did pretty well with because the Celestial and Internals, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was his name again?
Tiamat, I think.
No, the other one. Tiamat was the one inside the Earth.
I don't remember then.
Yeah. Um, because
Yeah,
I remember, because obviously the one that instructed the Internals to go to
yeah,
Earth or
yeah.
whatever.
I know who
He
you're talking.
like that was like if Galactus can have a voice like that, we're golden.
Yeah, and
And
he did,
yeah, pretty much.
and that was the guy from Beast Wars.
Yes, he was Megatron. That's why
Yeah,
I know.
and this guy, yes, he voices he voices a Sid in Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, no, and I'm just like, oh man, this guy's in everything, which I like because like you said, you need someone with an imposing voice. And Silver Surfer, well, it's a different Silver Surfer, but then I mean, it's not Norrin Rad, it's
Shalabal.
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 Yeah, this man, their names are weird.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah, this is Stan Lee being like, I like weird sounding names.
That's what aliens would have as names.
Yeah.
Right.
They did change a bit of the origin, but they didn't go that into it because like they wanted to keep it different,
Mhm.
and I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
And because it still has that sort of like, still has that at the core, it's still that character. Personally, I wish there was more of the Silver Surfer, but honestly, I get the movie was more supposed to be centered around the family.
Yeah.
When that for me is fine. Maybe there's some extended stuff out there that kind of answers all my questions, but obviously when it comes with movies, they always have to adhere to a certain runtime.
Yeah. Sort of. What they feel is right to get them
Mm-hmm.
the story across, or get enough screenings at theaters and stuff. But yeah, no, I would agree. The Silver Surfer does is pretty good, and especially her interactions with Johnny. I mean, heck, it gives Johnny a pretty interesting through line for this movie, which
Mm-hmm.
you know, in case you're wondering, like that sort of yes, the movie is definitely more centered around Reed and Sue and their whole, having Franklin and stuff, but Johnny definitely has a role to play in the movie, and it's really interesting to see his sort of character growth because it's not like I guess he doesn't really like mature, but it's like his tendencies allow him to figure things out that the rest of the family isn't working on.
Yeah, yeah, he's able to see some stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's one criticism is that Ben doesn't do much, but I think that's fine.
Yeah, for what it's worth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like each member of the family, I think gets enough screen time where I feel like the movie understands the dynamics
Yeah.
well and understands that the family is the sort of the core of a Fantastic Four movie, and
Mm-hmm.
it works.
You know what the Thing's role is. He's like he has through him we see the people's perspective.
You're not wrong because there are a lot of scenes of Ben Grimm going out in the world and sort of just seeing how people think about the Fantastic Four. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah. There are moments where they're being liked, they're being discussed, like
Mhm.
questioned, and then he's like, I even I have moments of where I need comfort,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, that's nice. So it's not a, so let's say like there could be more, but it's fine because the main point again is centered around Reed and Sue, and yeah, just if you guys are wondering, no, Doom is not in this movie.
They mentioned Latveria.
Yeah,
It's referenced. So if
he's in
you're
there.
yeah,
He
so
may be in there, but
he's running around maybe, but so as far as them mentioning Doom at all, no,
yeah,
no.
no, no. Sorry.
Um, but yeah, also if you're wondering if this is gonna lead into if the movie was gonna actually have a direct lead into Doomsday, not really.
Not really. You could argue, but I don't think so.
Yeah, like maybe the post credit scene, but eh,
Yeah,
pretty much it's sort of its own self-contained story.
yeah.
Um, which I think the director mentioned at one point, right?
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, which yeah, for what it is, that works, right?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely works here.
Okay. Yep. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or you think you're okay?
Um, not too much. I mean, I know we joked about it a little bit, because I remember asking you on the way back of, did the CGI baby look better here, or which CGI baby look better, Franklin or the baby in the Twilight movies?
They're both about the same for me.
I mean, yeah. Although I think I remember, yeah, because yeah, there are moments where Franklin's definitely a CG baby, but at least they have an actual baby.
They use him. They use CGI baby when you needed to do things that a baby would not be able to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I remember you were kind of like, because Ben holds the baby a lot in the
Yeah.
movie, and it's sort of like,
It's his Uncle Ben.
yeah, and it's just like, so I think you're just pointing out like, man, I can't tell whenever if the baby CG or if it's just because Ben's holding him because he's a CG character.
Like it's either two CG CGI characters, or one looks less realistic because of a CGI character.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think the CGI holds up well. I mean, I'll tell you this much. I kind of expected Galactus to be like a fully CG character, voice and just voice,
Yeah.
but no, he's actually a dude.
Yeah, you looked this up, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like he is like in suit and everything. It's just very touched up with CG, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, it's because isn't there if I recall correctly, isn't there a whole bit where it wasn't it said that he actually got to put on a suit and run around like a little miniature New York for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly I can kind of see it. Like there's a shot where I'm like, that's a guy in a suit.
I didn't even notice if that's the case. If it's true, that's really awesome. I love that.
Granted, it could also just be like placebo or like I'm starting to get schizophrenic and I can't
Oh,
tell what
Jesus,
things are real or
let's
not.
let's not hope on that.
But yeah, no, I mean it's I think it's pretty cool. You know,
Yeah. I'm kind of looking it up right now, seeing if that's true. But is there anything else you want to bring up?
Um, Not really. I think we covered most of the our sort of stuff. I mean, like I said, like I guess maybe like we mentioned, like some of the CG shots look a
It
little
is.
off.
Yeah, Galactus will be portrayed using a practical man in a suit approach rather than relying solely on CGI. Yep. They build a full costume for Galactus to establish his scale and presence while using it during filming to understand how to interact with the environment and others. Huh. That's cool. I like that. They should do more of that.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, that's always kind of a neat, cool thing to do. Especially because one, it allows I think the actor himself to actually be able to go through the motions and stuff.
Hmm.
And I think two, because I mean, it's like it's not even. I don't think it's necessarily that hard to do anyway. You're just
Hmm.
a lot of these movies are kind of just green screens anyway, so you can just adjust it in a way. I mean, it's not like what's his name from the Black Adam movie. What was his
The Atom.
the Atom? Yeah, like it wasn't necessarily like that sort of scale. Like you can kind of tell the Atom is just fully CG when he gets big,
Mhm.
right? Like here, it's like there's definitely shots where like yeah, he's a guy there. That's a guy there.
That's a guy.
Like that is a dude.
Mhm.
Which I think it's always at the end of the day always kind of fun. Like I don't know. I guess part of me just kind of likes sort of those old Godzilla movies where it's a guy in a suit and, and they try to composite the shots
Mhm.
of like people being on one building and like the Godzilla's just there. Like it's been done before, and with Hollywood's money, you
Mhm.
can make it look better.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think that's about it. I
I
mean,
mean, I have nothing to say other than the movie was really good. Um, what would your rating be?
my rating, well, that's a thunder.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anyways, with that being said,
Mhm.
I honestly would probably. I'm leaning towards like an 8.5 to a 9.
I'm also kind of leaning towards an eight.
Like, because I'm thinking about it, and personally, I don't think any of the. I might say 9 just because I think most of the flaws
Mhm.
of the movie itself aren't necessarily that. Um,
Yeah, like so it's kind of like for me like the Superman thing, right? Where it's like it's not bad, but there's something that like maybe if it was a little longer, maybe if they had this, it could be like fully like a 10 out of 10 movie. But it's like overall, it's still a good movie.
yeah, and it's kind of sucks. I don't think it's like because I'm very analytical when it comes to movies. Sometimes it's just sort of like it, my brain kind of like wants to like pick out flaws a bit just
Yeah.
because I don't want to give things like 10 out of 10 sometimes.
No, no,
It's
no.
like,
You want that to be special.
yeah, it's like okay, here's some like you're kind of just like a teacher basically, or at least
Mm.
I sometimes see it when I'm watching a movie of like, hey, all right, I'm seeing the assignment, like yeah, you get it's done one or two things here, 95% or something,
Yep.
but yeah, I think a 9 out of 10. I think that's pretty good. I mean,
And you're not being unfair.
I no, I'm not being unfair. I think for what this movie is, it works on pretty much all the levels. It nails what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty clear, especially when you look at both critic and audience scores around the internet. Of like, yeah, people like this movie. This movie is the best Fantastic
Yeah.
Four movie. Which
Last I checked, it was like 80 critics, 90 fans. I'm like, that sounds about like what we're going through right now.
yeah, pretty much. And yeah, I know. I want to say like the bar was not that high. I
Oh God,
mean,
no.
to make a good Fantastic Four movie, because I mean, realistically, the blueprint was already there. It was always there. It was The Incredibles. I mentioned it earlier in this review.
Yeah.
Like that, and like yeah, they're like yeah, the family is the most important
Mm.
part. That's what needs to be done. And Marvel Studios they knew that the first family needed to be right, and
Yeah.
they did it.
You did. It's. I mean, like when your last movie is fan forced, you had nothing to really compete with.
Yeah. Like once you hit fan four stick levels, it's like anything is better than that.
Anything is better than that.
And it's just so funny when I think about it now because we have these two movies, right?
Yeah.
Superman and
Mm.
Fantastic Four that are both returning to the old school characters,
Mhm.
right? And putting them in. Well, one of them keeps them in that retro setting. One of them puts them in the modern world still,
Mhm.
but they keep true to those characters' cores,
Yeah.
and that's I think what makes the movies great.
Mhm.
Because I think at some point maybe we started to like think, okay, just throwing comic book characters on the screen, yeah, sure, that works.
Yeah.
But sometimes at the end of the day, keeping a character to true who they are by their core values
Mhm.
and who they and putting them into the modern world like Superman or showcasing, yeah, the Fantastic Four, they're a little weird,
Yeah.
but that's what makes them cool,
Mhm.
right?
No, yeah, they're both like made for that, right? They're both like these classic characters who like they are. There's a reason why these characters are timeless because it doesn't matter if you put them in the past or in the present. They are there for a reason. You know, they just have to deal with whether it be stuff from a certain time or stuff from current. Yeah, but I think that's a good place to end it, honestly. So you want to go with a nine or?
I think nine's probably where I'm landing on
I'm
it.
I'm uh, I'm gonna be a little different. Different. I'm gonna say eight, not because I didn't like the movie, but just like man, I've just because I know they edited some stuff out. I'm like man, I kind of want to see the edit. Man, just didn't see the edit, but I think an eight should be fine.
Release the what's the name of the director again?
Matt, Matt something, right?
Shockman.
Matt Shotgun cut.
Release the Shockman cut. Release it.
Shotgun cut. But anyways, you guys, if you enjoyed your episode, follow us on all podcast platforms. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Oh, wow. Ooh, wow. Okay, you can tell I'm tired. Oh. If you, like I said, if you guys like what you heard, be sure to follow us on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And on Instagram, you'll find a link to all blogging sites we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and all Pandora, all that good stuff. You'll also find a link to the YouTube for your audio listeners out there who want to put a face to the voice. And yeah, Patreon for informed support. So, yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
It's been Fantastic Four. I think that's the end of the comic movie stuff. If there's another movie that we want to watch that will get us to talk, we'll come by. If not, you guys enjoy, have a good time. See you guys. Peace. Be boy, Eli.
Be Joe.